Hi, everyone. I'm John Lux, and I'm the Executive Director of Film Florida. Welcome to Film Florida Friday. Film Florida Fridays are interactive conversations about current topics, initiatives, and relationship building in Florida's screen production industry. Today, we're having a conversation about women in production in honor of Women's History Month. We also have a very special guest host today, Film Florida President Sandy Lighterman from Film Lauderdale. In a moment, our panelists will introduce themselves and Sandy will ask some questions. During that time, we're going to ask everybody to keep their microphones on mute to avoid any background noise. After we've gotten through initial questions, we'll open it up to the audience for questions and conversations. At that time, please use the hand raising function under the React button so we can call on you. We're going to ask everybody to keep their questions and comments brief in the interest of time and out of the fairness to others that also want that opportunity. Film Florida Fridays are always free, but we hope you'll consider donating $20.25 for our 2025 fundraising campaign. The donation link will be posted in the chat box, but you can always find it on our website. And with that, let's start with the introduction to our special guest host, Sandy. Go ahead, take it away.
Thank you, John. And really, thank you, ladies, for joining me and everybody else that's joining us today. This is an illustrious panel, and I'm going to let these lovely women introduce themselves. So I'm going to go around the grid right now, and top of my grid is Joe. Go ahead. I'm going to let you say your full name and let everybody know who you are.
Yes, my full name is a funny story. So Joe Torres Francelli, that's my full name, but everybody calls me as Joe. I am by trade a costume designer, and I work in very different areas in the wardrobe department, but mostly that costume designer was my sweet spot, let's say, the one that I work the most on. Right now, I work for the union for IATSE. I am with Local 600, which represents cinematographers on motion picture. I was previously with 477, which is the local that represents studio mechanics in the state of Florida. And I think that gives you a little brief of me. I will move it to the next person. And Sandy, if you're okay, I'm going to throw the next person in the pot. Roy, do you want
You go right ahead, Joe. I'll let you co-host with me.
Hey, all right, go ahead. It's all yours.
Who are you giving it to, Roy?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, you have to. Yep.
That's a hard act to follow. I was so impressed by her credentials that I was like, oh. Well, my name is Rory Lee. And the funny thing is, Rory is my first name, Lee is my last name. Oftentimes people will refer to me as Rory Lee, thinking that that is all one first name, and it really actually is not. So unless you're mad at me, you can just call me Rory. I am the CEO of a global company of mainly makeup artists and hairstylists. I'm the lead artist, and I'm also a licensed esthetician and a makeup creator. So I'm so excited to be a part of Film Lauderdale and a long-term member of Film Florida. It's a privilege to be a part of this great network of collaborative efforts that really focus on supporting and continuing to help our business thrive. I have a fantastic team of people, so I'm representing all of us.
Awesome. Oh, well, thanks, Roy. And then let's throw it to Tabitha. Unmute yourself and give us your background.
My background?
No, Tabitha. Tabitha.
Okay.
Tabitha, yeah.
Oh, by the way, I am hearing impaired, so I'm trying to intentionally listen and read lips at the same time.
Okay, hi, my name is Tabitha Mudra. Nothing special about that name, just the birth name. And I've been down here in South Florida 25 years, but I switched over to filmmaking in 2013 when I joined 48 Hour Film Project. And then it took me on a wild journey. And now I'm 40 films deep, and I couldn't be happier. I can't wait to work with all of you.
That's wonderful. So we're going to delve a little bit deeper into everybody. I'm actually going to start with you, Tabitha. You are an award-winning director, cinematographer, and producer. So tell us a bit more about your work and how you approach storytelling, how your approach to storytelling has evolved over time.
Yeah, it's been a big evolve. Obviously, when you first start, you just hope you have a story. And then when people validate your storytelling over and over again, you think, okay, I might have this. Then you can start putting in really smart notes, right? Like as you're writing your script, you can punch in more details, more character. Story can be anything you want it to be. But I would say how we've made it unique is we always try to, we being the 1310 Bandits Collective, a female-led filmmaking team, we try to make a socially conscious story inside of every film. So if that's a social responsibility of any kind, to be kinder, or something more political, or it could be any topic, but to make it more socially conscious.
Well, that's awesome. So that's now your mantra. That's where your stories come from.
Hmm.
That's awesome. Also, you also are committed to challenging women's barriers to joining and excelling in the film industry. So can you tell us a bit more about your efforts in that space?
Absolutely. Female filmmakers are around, but we have to look for them. Just like I don't know the panelists on the screen today, I'm so excited to be here so I can meet you all. In order to hire females, you must find the females. So when we put out the cast, like the opportunity, we have to say we are also looking for females. What I've noticed, and then you have to hire them also, and then they have the job. So I will go looking for, say, a female audio engineer. Per 100 male audio engineers I can find in South Florida, there might be one female that I can find. And then pending her level of expertise, depends where we can put her, if she's newer, intermediate, or quite far along. So yeah, it's just about finding them and hiring them, but they are a little harder to find. There just aren't as many.
But part of what you're doing is actually nurturing, right, those female content creators, whatever part of the crew that they're on, and that's absolutely inspiring, very much so. And so, Rory, I'm going to come over to you. You've worked as a hair and makeup artist across the country through this and obviously throughout the state of Florida. How have you seen your craft evolve?
When I first began in the industry, I was doing a lot of risk taking in terms of trying different areas of the TV and film industry to see what I really liked. I know I didn't start out as a makeup artist. I have a chemistry background, and the science of skin has always been exciting and a passion for me. When I was asked to do makeup, it was first for a commercial, a political campaign commercial. And the day that I went on to the production set for the very first time, I feel like there was a spark in my heart that just came alive. And I'm like, this is it. Production. I love production. And I had since gone into, doing fashion, and I'm dating myself a little bit, but back in the day, like 22-hour music videos. And I was like, I don't know, Sandy, I don't know how I survived it, but I did, because it was like the natural adrenaline, and it was just so exciting, being able to go from there, connecting with producers and directors who invited me on board to be a part of their indie filmmaking. And in that season, that's when I joined Film Florida. When I tell you the indie film season was plentiful, the Bollywood movies, as well as a lot of independent film. I probably did about 15 in a span of 5 years. And in that span of 5 years, I also developed a crew, because I had other clients and I didn't want to turn them down. And I also needed a team of people. So I was the department head, and we had our hair and makeup people, and we did all these indie films. Then the budget started taking a little bit of a dive, and I say a little bit figuratively speaking. And then that's when I went into more commercial and corporate work, which is where I've landed, and we're on an upswing with the budgets, and that is my niche.
That's very cool. And yes, I do remember that. I remember 25-hour music videos. So yes, I produced those. I hate to say, but yes, that is the past. But you also have a makeup line, Rory, and how did you decide to how did that business come to be, and how do you use it to speak to the heart of women?
The idea for the makeup line is something that I resisted for quite a while. I was doing a lot of quote unquote celebrity makeup artist work representing other brands, and sharing the features and benefits of those brands. It was a lot of fun, but I could not see myself being the creator of a makeup brand. And God kept saying, yes, you need to do it. Yes, you need to do it. And I said, okay, I'll try. And there was a need out there for reducing the amount of products that I was carrying around. I think from the films and the videos and working with celebrities, there were big name brands that were giving me product placement. So I was carrying around like 2 suitcases of products, and I'm like, this is crazy. I went to Barbados to do a job, and I packed everything in an overnight bag. And I said, I'm going to carry my makeup and my tools with me in this overnight bag. I don't care if I lose my luggage, but I can't lose the products that I was, heading out of country to service these people. And that's when I had the epiphany moment. And I'm like, why am I carrying around all of these pallets of products when everything that I needed for these 9 women were in this overnight bag? And then that's when I went to work, did the research and development. The high definition cameras were just coming into play, and I needed products that would service all women, all ethnicities, all hues, but not have to feel like I was moving in every time I showed up for a job. The less products, the hybrid products that you can use, the quicker I was able to service these clients. And then that's where I created the development of using effortless and efficient products and tools to service everyone, no matter what part of the world they were coming from.
What's the name of your product line?
I'm sorry?
What's the name of the product line? So
Rory Lee.
Okay, I figured, but you need to promote the name of the
Thank you. It's my namesake line,
Right.
but it's a tradition that has evolved into a family business. I have 12 grandkids, 3 of which are granddaughters, and they're just more enthusiastic about the product line than my own children. So I'm doing this for them. They are my why.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And congratulations on taking your chemistry background, but your science background to be able to do that. I'm going to ask you one more also about, you also a proponent about inner beauty, right? That's a big deal. And you inspired you created your own 501c3 called Our Girls Enrichment Program. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
That speaks to my heart. And I'm going to say this without tearing up, hopefully. Coming from a multi-ethnic background and living outside of the country and then coming into the United States. I lived outside of the country. I was in the Bahamas. I went to school in Switzerland. Coming to the States, it wasn't as much of an acceptance to be multicultural as there was outside of the country. And it hurt my heart, to be judged one way or the other. And I found that there were a lot of young girls that didn't understand that their beauty came from within. They didn't understand that they can look different than the person to the left or the right, but that beauty actually comes from the heart, soul, and spirit. So that spoke to me in terms of helping these young ladies just merely as a volunteer basis, using makeup and my profession as a carrot to speak to their hearts, to let them know that it's their kindness that matters. It's their intelligence that's a part of their beauty, and teaching them about skincare and teaching them about age appropriate makeup, and letting them know the fact that makeup was designed to enhance that natural beauty. They didn't have to change their appearance. So through those volunteer and charity efforts with foster girls, girls that have aged out of foster care, pregnant teen moms, girls that have been rescued off the streets from human sex trafficking, like all kinds of opportunities were coming into place for me to speak to these young ladies and have fun with these workshops. And then my accountant said, you know, this needs to be a 501c3 because you're getting donations to, you know, buy the supplies and products and everything, and it needs to be separated out, not as a means of income. And so that's what we did. And fortunately, the makeup line has helped. Those ancillary funds has helped me to, you know, to supply the products and do these workshops for the girls as well.
That's beautiful. Actually, that's beautiful work. So really impressive, and it speaks to my heart, you know, for the underserved community for sure, and women in general, you know, because I grew up in a time when, you know, we were judged by our looks. We, you know, grew up in a time of women not being the only woman in the room most of the time. So, and having to have the strength come from it. So I love that what you're doing with that. I'm going to move on to Joe. Joe, your background is in wardrobe design. As a in your role in wardrobe, tell us a little bit about your day to day. I know what it is, but others might not.
That is a loaded question because there's so much going on
Right.
in a day today. First of all, I wanted to say so impressed with my other two panelists. I mean, you guys are incredible. And I wanted a minute to say that because, oh my God, you guys are amazing. Day to day for a wardrobe designer, it really depends where you are on the production. So during pre-production, that is your heavy load. You're going to have a lot of that work happening during that time. You're going to have to design the costumes, talk to the actors, talk to the director, create a vision in collaboration with the production design, because we want to have a world that all fits. And then you have to start building these customs. And I'm trying to simplify the amount of work that we have during that pre-production. You know, once
Don't
those
simplify it.
customs
I'd say don't simplify.
here for a long time because it's a lot that happens. Like there's a lot that happens on the pre-production. We want to make sure that that world is perfect for production, that it all fits, that the director is happy, and that the actors are happy with their costumes as well. Because everybody thinks costume designers, they design their own thing. That's not how that works. We work in collaboration with the director's vision, with the actor's vision, because they have a vision for the characters as well. And then we have to also focus with the production design because we're, like I said, we're building a world, and our characters and their costumes have to fit in that world. So it is a collaboration for the costumes department to get all those looks done. So there's a lot of work that happens on that in that beginning part. If as soon as you get those costumes approved, then you have marketing coming in and taking pictures of those costumes. So we want to prepare for the marketing of the production whenever that comes in. And then when you have production happening, you're going to have a whole new set of things to deal with. Now you have outfits that are going to be established on camera. You're going to have the continuity of those outfits. And yes, you do have the costume supervising department taking care of the technicalities of that. But as a costume designer, you always want to keep an eye that your vision and the vision of what is the vision of what the director wants established, and everything looks the way that it should look. So yes, we do have that side of the department, the technical side, but as a costume designer, you do want to keep an eye on it. And after that, you know, during production, you may have also fittings. You do have talent that is going to come in for 2 days, and you need to do fittings, you know, for them coming in. So you're still going to have that fitting process as you go through the production. Now, in some point, and I will say most of the designers will, at the end of production, they will leave the production and leave the costume supervisors deal with the next part. I like to stay because I like to organize them correctly and the way that I think will be the best. So it will come wrap, and that's when we take all the costumes and we're going to put them together. We're going to tag them correctly. We're going to put them in the right place, because if there is any reshoots that are needed for the production, something didn't work out, we need to reshoot this. We need to make sure that we organize them properly. So if I'm not the person taking care of that in the future, the next person can easily find what they need. So when you look at the work, there's a lot of technicalities. There's a lot of design. Like I said, majority of your work is on that pre-production part. But every single stage of it is important because, like I always say, it's a production, it is the director, it is all these things, but your name is on it. And you want to make sure that you're doing a great job, and then your name looks good in the production. You want to do that good work. So I would say that will be the day-to-day of the costume designers. And we do collaborate with so many teams. I know Rory, hair and makeup, we collaborate with you guys because we're creating looks. There's so much collaboration that happens with the wardrobe department. So it's a mix and pot of different things coming together, and it always looks so great because the more opinions, the better.
That's a good, some would not say that in your position, right? Some would say less opinions is better, but that's because it is a collaborative effort, right? Yeah. I think that over the years, things have changed with that. I think that when it comes to the collaboration effort, I think that the autonomous has changed, and I think that has more resonated in our industry. Is there a memorable design anything that you designed that's memorable for you that we would all know, maybe?
I don't know. This one is memorable to me just because of the technicality of it. I did a commercial for Boss Revolution, and I think it's an app. Don't quote me on it, on what it does, but they hired me because they wanted to have people always hire me for their really interesting costume choices. Like if they have something that is very complicated, for some reason, they will contact me because I'll put it together for them. But this one director wanted this quinceañera dress to fall apart. We all have seen the commercials where a piece of cloth is ripped apart and something else comes after it. We have seen that. But he wanted to fall apart like gravity was falling apart. And I was like, okay, that's an interesting concept. How can I do this in camera in a short amount of time that is going to give that? And we have 2 different dresses, and we had 24 hours to get this done because that's how fast the idea came to his mind, and we needed to put it together. So we had to test different magnets, deconstruct a dress, reconstruct a dress, put magnets in there. The magnets, we had a pulley system to make sure that—
I was going to say, it had to be something like that, right? Yes.
Pulley system, different magnets. We need to make sure that they were the correct magnets to actually not break the pulley system. So we had all these different pieces. And then we have to use our thinking hat and how gravity is going to make this fabric fall. So it was a combination of multiple people in different areas of the room trying to pull this dress in different areas to have all these pieces fall apart and make it look like gravity was, that it was breaking apart. So that was complicated at best. And I will never forget about that. 24 hours to get that work done was absolutely incredible. And my hat goes off to my team because we worked together to pull it off, but we did it. And, I only saved the short snippet on it, but I know there's a long version of it where you can see it better. But yeah, I will never forget that. I learned so much about that one project.
So 24 hours seems like the same, like the music video you actually did, right? On that particular dress, because you did not sleep. I can guarantee in those 24 hours, there was no sleep involved in that. And you had a lot of people that had to get on that with research really quick. Or it was you,
I had a tailor, I had, another person with me. It was 3 of us, and we were figuring this out and reconstructing a quinceañera dress is not an easy task. So
how many takes did you take? Do you remember?
I think we took like around 4 takes, and it was because we wanted different angles to it. So we want to try different things.
So you had to put it back together each time then do.
That's why the magnets work out, because we just
exactly. Okay.
Back again. So it was always thinking about, let's be fast, but let's be efficient. So that was the part of it.
I would say that would be memorable.
That's memorable.
Now let's jump over to, you were with 477, right, as a spokesperson, right, for, or as front facing for 477, which is a different local than 600. My son is in 600. I don't know if you know that, Joe. Yeah, he lives in Los Angeles, but he's in 600. And so there was I'm trying to figure this out because this is brand new for me. I just learned this the other day, right? When I saw that you heard about this. So you're at 600. You were with 477, which 600, for those that don't know, is basically the camera union, right? So therefore, then costume design, what happens to that? And then tell us a little bit about your, what you're working on as in that capacity for the union.
Yeah, so when I was with 477, I was the assistant business manager and I was a political coordinator as well. And I started first as an executive board representative for the North Florida. And I started that, I would say like around 5 years ago, I got into the union. And it's not that I don't love my craft. I love costume designing, but I realized that I also had a passion for union work. I had a passion for helping the members, for getting things right. I work in some questionable shoots like Rory will do it back in the day. We had some shoots that were difficult, and I always thought it has to be an easy way to do it. Obviously, the union has contracts in place to make sure that they protect you through the process. So I found that work to be very rewarding to me. It spoke to me. I was interested on it, and that's why I started working with the union. So I slowly moved away from the wardrobe department because I was passionate about the work that I was doing. So I went from 477, the studio mechanics that covered mostly everybody on set, outside from a few classifications, to local 600, which is a little bit more concentrated in the camera department. And the work still persists. I like the idea of helping the members. I like the idea of the work that we do. I believe in what we do. Sometimes changes change. I believe that most of the time changes happen whenever the camera department says something about it and said. So whenever you have a set and the camera is not happy, changes start happening in production. So working first for the camera department or working with the camera department right now, I think we can affect some change. I think we can bring things to their contract specifically that can help other categories on set. So it seems weird to think of it like, right, but I was like, you start in a place, and if that creates a ripple effect that is going to help everybody else on the road, I want to be part of that. So that's how I ended up working with 600. And even though that I change where I am, my passion will always be wardrobe. But right now, I am so interested in helping the members through the process. The industry is reconstructing. So I want to be part of that. I want to make sure that the members are going to the next stage with support, that we're supporting them, that we can keep their jobs, that whatever the future of this industry looks like, there's a space for our members in it.
Just quickly, can you just expound on the benefits of being part of the union? That's important. No matter whether it's 600 or 477, pretty much the benefits are the same, right?
Yeah. Across the board, when it comes to the union, you're usually going to have the same benefits. You're going to have better wages, you're going to have healthcare, you're going to have retirement. Those are the usual benefits that you have. But when it comes to our contract, we're pretty strong to make sure that you have a work-life balance. And if you work on set, that doesn't really exist much. But we have put things in the contract to make sure that that happens, that you can enjoy your job, that you can go home and have time with your family, that you can get paid well, that you're treated like a person. Sometimes when we're on set, production just wants to go really fast. They want to get this done. Slow down. We're dealing with human beings. Let's make sure that the work is getting done safely, and that everybody can do what they have to do without being in a rush, without having to, go around safety measures. We want to make sure that everybody's safe and that the production gets quite a great job. When people are rested, when people are relaxed, when people are safe, they will give you a great job. And that's what we want. We want you to be safe on set, and we want you to be able to give out your art and for the production to have a great product at the end. So all these things kind of work together. So when it comes to the union, we are here to support you. We're here to represent you. If you're in a set, something happens, we're here for you. You don't have to fight that. Let us take care of it. We'll fix it for you. So I think that's what the union brings to the table. Do your art, do what you have to do. We will take care of the little details and make sure that you're safe and taken care of while in production.
Great information. Thank you. And I mean, I'm impressed with all of that you all are doing. So I know all of you. So, but I'm so happy that we're talking and letting everybody else know what you're all doing in your professions as well as your passions. This is going to be a kind of a question for everybody, and I'll start with Tabitha, but you guys can think about this. We've seen the industry shift over the years. There's a lot of changes that are going on, but what are some of the keys in our industry, the key wins for women in our industry And what are the wins, but where do you see that we need to improve? Tabitha, do you think you have an idea on that?
Okay, so wins and improve it's double-edged because we now have an intimacy coordinator, which is fantastic because prior to I was getting a lot of calls from female actors and they were saying they changed the intimacy scene on me last night. What do I do? And I'm like, well, your intimacy coordinator, advocates for both sides. So we don't have an intimacy court. Oh, now you need one. This is so good.
That's a good win.
So,
Yeah.
and then another weird thing is finding as a DP, finding a body harness that will fit me at any rental is not possible. So I started talking to rental companies like, do you not have other women who run camera? Or like, do we have to go buy our own fitted things? Or can we not have the luxury of renting? So that's a little bit of a challenge still.
So there, I'm so sorry, Tabitha, that is the next profession that you should be in, is designing harnesses for women and making a fortune in doing that. Don't you think?
$1 million idea.
There you go. I think it's time. I think that's where it is. Well, that's actually an absolutely interesting angle. I didn't think you were going to come up with it, but that's amazing. Rory, what about you? What's your thoughts on this?
Thoughts about changes in the industry?
Yeah, I mean, what some of the wins that women, for women in the industry, and then some of the ones that the places that we need to improve, the areas that we need to improve on.
Well, across the board, not just, I mean, hair and makeup, even for the most part, wardrobe has always been, in my opinion, more women than men. But across the board, I'm working with a lot more grip, lighting, and camera women. And I think that that's thrilling. I mean, I've gone on a couple of production sets where it's been pretty much all women, like manning everything, sound, grip, lighting, camera. I think that that's really, for me, that's kind of like really cool because I'm an advocate for women supporting women. And anything that I can do personally to transfer my skills and to share my intellectual property when it comes to even in our department, I'm all for doing whatever we can to support the newer production crew members that are females that are coming into the business. I think that we've got to look out for each other because there is no competition, and I always use the expression that individually we're unique, but together we're complete.
Any improvements that that you see that we should be doing that haven't been attacked yet, haven't been addressed yet?
Improvements.
Right. Yeah.
You
can think on that. I can come back to you.
I mean, it would be wonderful, but this is a whole gamut that we don't necessarily. I don't know how we can control it, but it would be wonderful if we were able to get. And I know Sandy and John, you're both doing a great job with this, but get our quote unquote name out there so that when productions come in from out of state and from out of the country, that they understand that we're totally capable of creating an amazing finished product for them. And like what Joe was saying earlier, with the costume design, I think, having someone in your area of expertise that creates a mood board, that creates a storyboard, that collaborates with hair and makeup and gives us the vision and the idea of, creating the character hair and makeup for whatever it is, even if it's a 2-day commercial or a 1-day commercial or a short film, we all have to work together to collaborate and to create that look. So, we just have to keep reiterating to the outside world that we have what it takes here. They don't need to necessarily bring their outside crew in and spend all of that excess money when we're right here and we've got the location and we've got everything that we need to supply their needs.
Our mantra here at Film Florida for sure. Joe, you want to give us your take on this?
You know, my take may be a little bit more related to how I see the industry. We're going to see some changes in the industry. I think the industry is going to change. There's some things that are going to be different moving on forward. I think there's a lot of opportunity on that change for women to actually jump into production and take some jobs. Bring women to those areas that they need to be, like DPs and directors and camera operators. And, you know, I know mostly wardrobe, hair, makeup are going to be those women classifications that we have on set. But there's other areas that I've seen a lot more women, Rory, like you mentioned. I've seen a lot more women coming in those areas, and I'm so happy to see that. And like I said, because we're going to have a little bit of a change on the industry, maybe we're going to see a lot more low budget productions being made. That will still give opportunity for young women that are entering into the craft to have a chance to work in those positions and work in those productions, get some, you know, experience under their belt, but also, you know, learn the craft and really evolve in the craft. And we want to see more women. We definitely want to see it. I love when I'm in a set where there is a lot of female DP and a female director, because they understand things so much differently. You can have a different type of conversation with them, and it's just like a great relationship to have. So even though that I love, you know, working with everybody, like working with other women is just such a different type of set. And I appreciate the difference to it, and I appreciate the collaboration that happens on it. So I think there is changes happening to the industry, but if women are smart, we can take advantage of those changes. We can jump into those positions, and we can learn, and we can, you know, become part of the industry in that way. So I welcome the changes. And I will say to any woman out there that wants to be part of the industry, this is your chance. Let's take it.
That's all. That's all of it is good input. I will just say that I'm older than all of you and older than the Hills. I've been in this industry since I was extremely young, and I will tell you, there was a time when hair, makeup, costume, and script supervisor were not females, right? I was like the only woman on the set. It was, you know, as a production, I was given, you know, some opportunities, and, you know, so I have seen a huge change over the years, and it's a welcome change, you know, in my opinion, of course, having more women, because, you know, just because it's our tribe, right, ladies? We're part of our own tribe. We love everybody, but it's nice to see that we're having more equality when it comes to all positions, you know, behind the camera as well as obviously on camera. I'm going to throw another you know, for everyone question. How can we create more opportunities for women in production? As you guys have touched a little bit about it, but instead of calling on you, maybe one of you guys want to start it off. Any thoughts? Who's going to go off the buzzer? Tabitha, go for it.
There was a really interesting thing. A male colleague put out a cast for a female director, and he got a lot of like kickback. He's like, this is sexist, this is not right. And I'm like, ooh, wow, we've got some upset in this chat box. And it's like, no, they're just really looking. So the colleague said, we're looking to expand equality on our team. We have 10 guys who DP. We are looking for 10 girls who DP.
Right.
Equality is like a hard thing to concept, because if we're at 4% of female directors in the world, if you just hear that, you're like, oh, we need to do some work.
Yeah. Good. What's very true. And you're one of the 4%.
Yeah.
Rory, did you put your hand up? Did you want to go?
Oh, I did. I wanted to say something because I just saw an email that John sent out, you know, asking for us to share opportunities for interns. And I think that if we can, you know, those of us who are seasoned and experienced, I mean, I've done all different areas and facets of hair and makeup in the industry. But if we can be willing to, you know, to take the time, you know, to mentor, you know, the same way that in the beginning, I had to figure a lot of things out myself. But if we can shorten the learning curve for people coming into the industry and take the time, yeah, it takes a lot more patience, to consult and to teach and to educate. But let's take the time and, reach a hand back and help others to learn so that we can continue to let this industry thrive the way that, I mean, we've got so much talent out there. So even just a supportive word, a supportive word of encouragement. If we see someone new that's on a production set and we can tell they're a little nervous and they're not quite sure, even just positive words of reassurance and reinforcement will make a world of difference in that person's life.
Yeah, those are words to live by every day, no matter who you are, too, right? Now, whether we be women or anybody that's starting out, right? I think that is, and I do agree with mentoring and helping the next generation of our content creators and crew members, because it really is important that our knowledge is passed on, because in the blink of the eye we will all be older and not be working, right? And we need to be passing that along. Joe, your thoughts?
I was going to say, I'm going to bring this to the crew members. And if you're a head department and you have your ability to hire people, go for those women in film that There's a lot of talent out there that is untapped. I'm used to my friend that my friend always says, and we build our little families when we build our departments. Expand your department, build your family bigger. Make sure that you have a bigger, circle to pick from. And look at some of those women that are working out there. I've been incredibly impressed with some of the women that I've seen on set. Incredibly impressed. I mean, they're doing incredible work. And I have seen them whenever they give the chance, they raise to the occasion. They come in and they do an incredible job because they know how hard those opportunities are. So they're going to show up for you. You will have a great member on your department if you give them the chance. I've seen that a million times. I have done it myself. Obviously, wardrobe department is a lot easier for women to come in, but when other departments have done it, they have seen results. So if you're a head department, you should open that opportunity, bring a bigger, throw a bigger net and see who comes to you. But I'm pretty sure, the woman that you're going to bring to your department, you will not be disappointed on their work. I promise you that.
Very, very true. Very good advice. And I love it all that you're all having to say. So let's another big question for everybody. What advice would you give to women that are looking to get in? Anything specific to women to get into this industry? What kind of advice? Or advice in general?
Hello.
Yeah, there she goes. Yeah.
My name is, hi. My name is Yesenia Cosillo. Nice to meet everybody.
Oh, okay. Hi.
I just came in, so I'm not sure if we shall introduce ourselves, if you're asking questions in general for everyone, or we're waiting our turn. So I'm just saying hello.
Yeah, that's nice to meet you. We're going to wait till the end to take questions. We're talking to the panelists right now, and then we're almost finished, and soon you can.
Sounds great.
Questions. Okay, sounds good. Tabitha, what were you going to say? Sorry.
This was on the advice. So Rory was saying, find a mentor, but sometimes it's not that easy. Sometimes you just need a production buddy and someone who knows a little bit more than you to shadow, or what did you do on that job? Or I remember the first big cinema camera job I had, I was so nervous. Fear was all over me. And I was YouTube University. I called every friend of mine, will you give me an hour on this camera? Because they knew it better. So it's like you just have to do it. It's just easy. And the more knowledge you have, the more comfortable you get, the more confident you are on set. And that's what it is. It's just that knowledge builds the power, and then we're unstoppable together.
Yeah, that's great. That's great advice.
Yes.
And any of you, any other advice that you could think of?
Yeah. I will say to women that want to join the industry, do not be afraid of it. I know, Tabitha, you mentioned that you were terrified of it, but you took the chance. And that's what it is. I don't care how scared you are, take the chance. You're going to make mistakes on the first production. It is what it is. But If you shadow a person, if you find somebody on set and you know that person knows what they're doing, shadow them. Ask them if you can shadow them. Most of the time, they're going to be like, yeah, that's fine. Unless they're super busy and they cannot do it, most of the time they're going to let you shadow them. Don't be afraid to take those chances and to take those opportunities. And I wanted to make a little bit of a dent in here because I saw it in the comments. My coworkers are in the in the Zoom meeting, and they were reminding me that 600 has an internship under the Sarah Jones. I forgot the name of it. Sorry. And if you are a woman that are looking to get into the camera department, this can be a great internship for you to take. I believe Netflix is in collaboration with us, so you will work in one of the productions as well. If I'm not incorrect in that, I'm sorry. But it's a great opportunity for you to learn, to go to a studio production, learn from the people that you should be learning, and get that information, get that put into the industry, because that's what it will do. You will meet the right people to get your foot in. So if somebody knows somebody that is young and is interested in the camera department, please apply. There's the link in the chat. Go ahead and grab that link, give it to them, have them apply. That could be a great opportunity for them to join in.
Mm-hmm. I was just going to say something that to tell everybody that's trying to get into this industry, and that is really go out to networking events, meet people, right? Go to any type of event that you can get to be able to introduce yourself. Don't be shy, and then be persistent. I say just slightly short of stalking, because if you want to get a job, right, and just slightly short. And Joe, you were talking about, everybody has their kind of their tribe, right? They have their people that they always hire, but then that person might not be available, and you might just be, emailing at the right time, and that's how it happens. And then when you work once and you do a really good job, then the word gets out, and then you start getting more work. You still have to be persistent. You still have to network yourself, but that's advice that I give to others. So before we get to questions, I want to say, is there last things that you want to plug, upcoming projects or events or anything that you want to talk about?
I always want to talk about projects.
Okay. Go for it, Tabitha.
So I just finished, not just, but we just pressed post on my passion project. If any of you have done your passion project, you know what an intense and growth phenomenon that is. And so that is going, I'm doing the trailer and the movie poster now. And then lucky for us, there was a grant at the Broward County, and we got it. And we just shot another short film that's in post called Madame, which I typically live in the drama thriller space. Whoa, this one's deep. It's good. So yeah. And then can you please follow me on Instagram, because I got hacked and I don't have any friends, people. So I am the Tabitha Mudra.
Why don't you put it in the chat?
I will. I'll put it in the chat.
All right. Any day.
And I'll add my Instagram handle on here as well, Tabitha. We'll follow each other and cross promote and support. Yep. One of the things that I'm really excited about at the end of April is planning to, for Film Lauderdale, I'm planning to teach a transferable skills workshop for makeup artists that are interested in getting into the TV and film world. So that'll be a lot of fun. And in addition to that, one thing I want to say is, for people that are getting into the industry, for women that you just have to try it. You have to ask questions. If a young lady wants to, or at any age, this was my third career shift. So, it's at any age, but if there's a particular area that you feel is touching your heart in a way that you have some curiosity about, maybe that's something that you can pursue, because it may become your purpose and your passion. But be willing to ask questions. No question is too small if you're looking to to grow as a person, professionally as well as personally. Just be willing to ask questions.
Great advice. And Joe, anything to add?
I will add that if you are in the camera department and you would like to join Local 600, you'll be more than happy to contact me and I will have that conversation. I have to throw that out there. I had to, if somebody that's been in the industry for a long time and you want to have a union to represent you, let's talk, let's figure this out for you. But if you are somebody working as a crew member on a film production, out of my heart, because I know the difference between working in a non-union production and a union production, like you can see the difference. If you want to join a union, I highly suggest it, because you will have a better quality of life and you will protect your family and be able to provide for your family better. So I will put that word out there if I can.
That's great. I will say that, Film Lauderdale, which I'm film commissioner, right, for Broward County, and Film Lauderdale, that we have worked with very closely on our transferable skills training classes. And so that's really been something that that's near and dear to my heart. And I'm going to plug something. I'm going to plug the South Florida Film Forum. Hopefully that you all will be coming to that. If you don't know about that, I'll see if John can throw that into the chat. That is they've been coming up at the end of the month that will have a production executives from HBO, from Fox Studios, from Media Rights Capital, from a huge, a lot of very influential producers, directors, Ted Melfi, that Hidden Figures is a director, they'll be there. I mean, there's a whole long list. There's actors, Nika King from who is Zendaya's mom in Euphoria. I mean, so it's going to be it's fairly inexpensive, and it is it's going to be a great place to actually network and actually meet the people that make the decisions about where they bring their work. So, and hopefully we influence them with all of our talent here to bring more of the work here. So I was going to plug that. And then I guess it's time we can open up for questions. John and Katie, are you there to?
Yeah, if anybody has a question, just please raise your hand under the React button at the bottom of the screen, or depending on where your React button is, and we'll go ahead and call on you. We'll start. There was a question in the chat box. I'll start with that one just so everybody can see. Does anyone know? Their question was, do film schools actively recruit female students, or do they not get into in the weeds in terms of recruitment? Does anybody know if film schools actually actively recruit females?
I will answer that one because I'm in that space, in the educational space. It's generally they're recruiting students. They don't segment whether it be female or male. So I think that they're equal opportunity. So yeah. Like government, okay. Same thing.
All right, Yasina, I see you have your hand up. If you want to go ahead and ask your question, we'll turn your spotlight on so people can see you ask. Go ahead.
Hi, so nice to meet all of you. I don't really have a question. It's more I wanted to share information with everyone. Is that okay as well?
Sure, why not?
Cool. All right, my name is Yesenia Cosillo. I am an actor and a stunt performer. We recently just opened a new stunt gym in Miami, Florida, and it's actually the only stunt gym in Florida right now called Miami Action Design. And this is actually really huge for Florida. Because we have been able to bring a lot of feature films down to Miami because of it. They're highly interested in the gym. And a little bit about myself really quick. I've been in the industry for over 15 years. I've worked on movies such as Dune Part 1, Black Panther, Miss Marvel, Shazam, etc. And we have the credentials to share this with you all. And we've worked I lived in LA for a little bit. Now we're in Atlanta, but also now I come back to Miami a lot because of the business, and we just want to share this with the community and be able to give back and help upcoming actors or performers of any sort. And I feel like this is an amazing opportunity for everyone, because right now we're also working with MGM Studios, and they're looking for performers and actors. So just wanted to share this with everyone, anybody that would be interested, in performing as either a stunt, getting into action, or maybe just, wants to further their career or that is beginning. This is definitely a great studio to check out. It's down in Kendall area. We just started November 2024. And we were actually fighting really hard to make this happen, about like a year and 7 months, because as we know, nothing in in Miami or Florida is easy when it comes to the film industry. They weren't very supportive at first because they didn't know exactly how to the county didn't know exactly how to place us because we're a fitness and film studio, but we made it work. And we're just really happy to be here for the community and to help everyone. If anybody has any questions, feel free to message me or contact Miami Action Design. And we're just here to serve you guys. And in any way that we could collaborate or help, we're here for that.
Okay, look in the chat there. Yeah, I was going to say there's some people that are saying saying put your information in there. So
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
go
Okay.
ahead and put your information in the chat. And I know you're a new member of Film Florida, so we appreciate you
Yeah.
joining.
Thank you.
So, all right, we have, let's see, Kimberly, I see you're having a hard time finding where to raise your hand. So go ahead and just unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, good afternoon, good day, everybody. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful to also know 3 out of the 4 women on this panel, and they're all phenomenal. And it's great to get to meet you as well. Joe, Joe, I guess I don't know, Joe's Marie. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I was just thinking, because I am the owner of Flow Film Festival. You may or may not be familiar with it, but we our whole purpose is elevating women that are behind the camera, above the line, or just in non-traditional roles, you know. So if your best boy grip is a girl, I'm with it. I for production purposes, and I just kind of really want to. I've had the LA experience for a decade. I've been back here. When I'm a producer, and when I produce content here in South Florida, uh, we go FI-CORE. Okay, so I don't want to confuse anybody. It's non-union, right to work state. You can work SAG here, but I don't personally ascribe to SAG so much, but I do pay SAG wages, and I provide an above the level SAG experience, where, you know, people get more than they are bargaining for when they work with us. So my question is really, if I'm able to compensate talent and crew at a level at or above SAG, right, and provide an on-set experience that exceeds SAG expectation, is that something that you think is a benefit and potentially a draw to attract higher level talent? That's my question.
ladies answer, or more than one.
I'll just jump in and say that I've just shot 2 short films with Kimberly and Flo, and I love everything that her organization stands for. You know, in terms of Flo, it is an acronym for Future Leaders of the World. And the last short film that we just shot was amazing. We had, I mean, it was almost an all-female crew, like, you know, sound and grip, and of course, makeup and hair and special effects. And I mean, first AD, second AD, everybody, we were all women, but Kimberly, I like how you're pretty transparent in saying about paying the decent rate, because truthfully, you know, short of the rate, it's great to be able to, you know, and I'm just saying very authentically, but it's great to be able to get paid what you know you're worth, even though it may be a nonprofit venture, or it may be something that's going to be like these films are educationally based films, you know, broaching very tough topics to help educators and students who are going through a tough time. But to be willing to, to fight for and to pay the budget, pay the rates that the professionals that you bring on board are worth, then I think that speaks all the difference in the world, because it shows in the quality of the finished product.
Can I jump in real quick if I may?
Please do.
Hey, hi, Kimberly. You're doing something pretty great. You're actually, bringing people into a production and you're paying them like pretty good wages. And I praise you for that. Absolutely. And I am wishing you the absolute best, that your company grows so much to the point that you can get an ACP contract. You can have a contract with SAG and have a contract with IATSE because your production company is doing so well. So I would say in a right to work state, you are totally allowed to do this. And I think you're doing, a good job by, paying them well and doing the best that you can for them. So I appreciate that you're coming up forward and you're letting us know about it. And I appreciate you for doing these things. Just make sure you also put them on a payroll. But outside from that, you're doing a pretty great job. And in the future, when you have built enough, hey, IATSE is here for you if you want to jump to that level of joining a contract and things like that. But hey, thank you for doing the right thing. I appreciate you.
All right, we have two
Thank
more
you,
questions.
Joe. I appreciate you, and I look forward to being able to engage the contracts that, and it's really just about raising the standard of what talent should be expecting, because I feel like, so many people take talent for granted. And, if we enhance or raise the standard of the baseline of what should be delivered, I feel like overall, like, if you go on a set and like Lori is saying, what you're worth, you're not going to accept less than that. And that will just raise the standard for the entire industry, not just here, but overall, like, the minimums are, and we're not going to do less than that. So I'm really appreciative of you, Joe.
All right, Mary Luz, if you want to unmute yourself, go ahead and ask your question.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for this great opportunity to connect. Even though I connected a little later than expected, I could listen and resonate with many of the things that you have said. So thank you for opening this conversation. I wanted to share a little bit about myself and the work that I'm doing right now. I am an indigenous Cancuama woman from Colombia. I work primarily on movies for inner peace, also known as healing cinema. Our focus is to co-create with talents from different parts of the world, movies that resonate with the people who are watching it, movies that represent us in diversity, and also films that help us release our nervous system to relax ourselves a bit, because of the current state of the world is so crazy, so hectic, that we need to pause for a moment and reflect about our lives. So that being said, I have been working on our fourth short film called Body Stories, Marta and Fidel, which is about the power of music to heal and connect. And right now, we are working to jump into production stage. We are planning to produce it all not only the movie, but also the music behind that movie in Atlanta. And I am inviting anyone who connects with this message that I am sending to join us in this journey. We are very excited. We are looking forward to jump into production stage in June this year. So that is basically an invitation to anyone who's interested to ask questions or join us, etc., etc. Thank you so much for your time. Oh, hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, we heard
Okay.
everything. All good.
Thank
Okay,
you so
perfect,
much.
perfect.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for sharing.
Cool.
All right. Last question is going to be from Isabel. Go ahead, Isabel, if you want to turn your camera on so everybody can see. Otherwise, just unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, my makeup department didn't come this morning, but good morning, everyone. I recently moved from Los Angeles to Miami, and I am a producer. And I just wanted to celebrate with you all because my first film as an executive producer just premiered in Los Angeles, and it got distribution on a platform called In the Black Network, and it's a streamer. And so it has been years and years of trial and error. And of course, I have a slate of projects that another one is in pre-production to shoot in Georgia. And that one we just attached Alec Baldwin. So I am at that point in my life that I've worked so hard to get to where I am. That's not my main thing. This is something that I've been doing as a passion. But what I wanted to say is that I wanted to encourage everyone that what is the most important for everything, and what I've been hearing, of course, the production value, but there is guerrilla, what they call guerrilla filmmaking. People who just want to go in there and shoot however it is. But the most important thing is the script, the stories. And it has taken me about 7 years to just this film that we just got distribution was about 8 years in the making. That this other movie is 7 years, but it's not in pre-production, it's in creative development. The script has to be in the best writing. So the writers are the most important people that you have to either spend money on. I know everybody thinks that they're the best writer when they want to write their story, but there's so many great writers out there that you can literally hire and make good deals with them and shoot. And so if anyone's looking for either writers, not that I'm making anything from this, but I now have a wealth of contacts from Los Angeles, writers, and now I'm offering, I know very well, distributors, streamers, because now everything's streaming, right? So please contact me if you know anyone that is, and I'm here to help. I'm here to help with all my experience that I've had and getting to where I am. So I'm gonna join Film Florida, and I want to go to Cannes, by the way. I'm going with you to the film festival in Cannes. I want to go with you guys because I got the newsletter yesterday. So I'm just, kind of new at this here in Miami. So I'm just
Sounds good.
introducing myself. Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for jumping in. I don't see any other questions, so I think that's going to wrap up another edition of Film Florida Friday. Thanks to Tabitha, Rory, and Joe for being with us. Thanks to Sandy for being our guest host, and thanks, of course, to all of you for joining.
Hello?
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I'm having issues, and I did have an important question about joining the union. And so I'm in costumes, and I'm on the show, and I'd really love to be on set. And I just want to know if I do join the union, what's the best way to start?
Calling the union. So if you're in Florida, 477 will be the union that you want to call. Jimmy Roberts is the person. So you can just Google I add to local 477, and they should be able to come up. There's the contact information for them in there. You want to contact the business manager and have a conversation with him if this is the right step for you. And if this is a good time for you, this is the right step for you. Get information about the union. Make sure you're making a educated decision when you're doing this, because we want to make sure that you are happy with the decision that you're making. But just talk to them and see, hey, what do I get from this? What is my benefit? How can this help me in the future? What do I need to join? All those little details, he will have them for you, and you can have that conversation with him about it. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And Courtney, I see you have your hand raised. If you want to ask your question real quick, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. My name is Courtney. Mo brought me in. Hi, Rory. I've known Rory for some years. We worked and I fit together for a couple years. I really just wanted to come in. I'll network separately with everybody for time's sake and just kind of drop this. I was talking to Sandy. I worked with Marco with Florida Film House, and I ran their youth program for 2 years. And I left them and kind of started expanding to work with schools. So I'm always looking for more partners to collaborate with our different programs that we're bringing into our schools. I kind of have a dream of starting an internship for kids between middle school and high school into industry related specifics so that we can get them prepped, get them into the set so they can, explore and see what type of departments that they like. So if there's anyone that's interested in collaborating or have any ideas of programs or cool stuff we can do for the kids, anything we can do to really shift those optics would be amazing, because I'm a late bloomer, so I'm almost 38 and I'm just now shifting to my dreams because life will life, and a lot of these kids are in survival mode, and I just can't imagine where they're, the max of their potential is going to be when they have people like us who have so much skin in the game, so much information that can be given. I mean, how many times have you heard someone say, I wish I knew then what I know now, but yet no one's turning around and giving that information back to the next generation. So I'm a big proponent to kicking down doors. So anyone that's interested in kicking down some doors with us, please reach out. I would love to talk to you guys more. And that's it, short and sweet.
Thank you, Courtney. We appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, so we are going to wrap up now. So thanks for everybody for joining us. Our next Film Florida Friday is going to be April 4th when we do a discussion about equipment and equipment rentals. Be on the lookout for that info and email blast and on our social media pages. As always, thanks to all of our members for their continued support. If you're not a member of Film Florida, we sincerely hope you will consider joining the organization. Keep up with everything we're doing on our social media pages. Make sure you check out the Film Florida podcast, which is available on most major podcast outlets. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. Thanks for being here, everybody, and stay safe